The participants' views are their own, do not represent their organizations or affiliations. Data discussions and visualizations are for informational purposes only and should not be considered as financial, legal, or tax advice.
Don't close your eyes. I could see everything all of a sudden.
Welcome to another edition of Crypto with Kamal. I'm joined today by one of the most effective and prolific content creators representing Elephant Money, and that is none other than SK Crypto. SK, how you doing today?
Hello, it's a pleasure to be here, Kamal. Very nice to meet you. Yeah, I'm doing great today. How are you?
I'm doing great too. I'm happy once again to have you because I think you're one of the several people uh, who can really break down elephant money in a very concise, cogent, and comprehensive ways. And, I've had a previous edition interviewing Bank Teller where he basically talked about his journey and how he got to elephant money and what elephant money is. And from then to now, it's progressed into many different things, but I think the latest editions of futures and elephant money NFTs are very exciting. And like I said, none better than you to kind of help break down these new offerings from elephant money. So, what can you tell us about this? And wherever you'd like to start, it would be great.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And then feel free to pause me at any point if you have any questions or want to stop. But yeah, hello everyone who has not met me yet. My name's SK Crypto K, and I am an avid fan of this Elephant Money protocol. I've been covering it since March of 2021 when it first came out. A couple months before the actual token. I am a YouTube influencer, and I've been in DeFi since January of 21, and pretty much spend most of my free time diving into the world of DeFi every free moment I get. And that includes networking with people, checking out other protocols, and really just trying to grow as much as I can as anybody, for financial freedom, hopefully one day in the future. So, but in regards to Elephant Money and what this is it's essentially a DeFi bank. This is a decentralized community bank. It's a cooperative where people can store their profits from anywhere in centralized finance or decentralized finance. And it's primarily um, based off of the elephant token itself. We can go into detail with that, but that is um, it is a reflection token that has an inherent 10% in and out tax of it. And, a lot of people don't like taxes, but that value capture that comes from the taxes is really why this ecosystem works the way it does. And when we go into how that value capture is then stored in the elephant treasury, or AKA Bertha is what I'll refer to it as. Bertha acts like a friendly whale, right? If anyone were to buy anything out there that's speculative, Bitcoin, SHIB, Doge, any of those coins, right? You're at the whim and the mercy of all the people who got in before you. You don't have any idea who these people are that bought for cheaper than you, that have larger bags than you. You know what I mean? And they've got medical emergencies that pop up. They've got mortgages to pay. And some of them in Bitcoin are institutional money, and they can manipulate the price when they do large sell-offs to shake out the retail investors. The difference between those that I listed and Elephant is Bertha, that elephant treasury. And as she harnesses more tokens and she grows in value, she is like that friendly whale that does not dump on the community and crash the price. I like to say recently that elephant is a token that dips but does not dump. And there is 2 years of historical data that we can review to kind of go into why that is. And once you understand the fundamentals of the elephant token itself and the elephant treasury, then it starts to piece together how futures, the latest ROI DApp within this wheelhouse, is sustainable. And then also with the latest launch of the NFTs, how those sales of those are fueling Bertha as well, and poising or positioning Elephant Token for a parabolic rise, much like we've seen before. And this is a battle tested protocol, but this next parabolic rise is going to be epic, and
Well,
can't wait.
sorry, not to cut you off, but what you said is very important because recently I ran into someone who works for a regulatory body. Let's just say that. And I don't think we're very much in favor of my stance on crypto and the things that I had to say. And you talked about having generating wealth through crypto, right? And basically, I think they were challenging my views on how this can be done through crypto. And what they said was, if you want to create a bank needs to have a treasury. And so just like you mentioned Bertha, I think people, when you say Bertha, people might not know exactly what that is. But essentially what Bertha is a bank treasury. So can you break that down a little bit more before we move forward?
Yeah, absolutely. So, for those that can watch the screen share, I've got the holder list of the elephant token itself. Okay. And the top four on the holder list is the protocol and the LPs. Okay. Um, in first place, you have something called the graveyard, which, okay, the basics of the elephant token is that there are one quadrillion tokens, okay, or 1,000 trillion tokens for those who like to hear it that way. And the graveyard always holds a minimum of 50% of that entire supply, right? So that is 500 trillion tokens. And this is different from, burn addresses that you may have seen in the past with SafeMoon and similar tokens. But this one is a smart contract. And through the reflections, the graveyard actually builds up above 50% until it reaches 51% or 510 trillion tokens. The difference between 50 and 51% is a 10 trillion token balance. And then the graveyard rebalances by taking those 10 trillion tokens, sells half of them on the chart for BNB, and then it pairs it with the remaining 5 trillion tokens and locks it into lock liquidity, which, fun fact out there, Elephant Token has over $56 million in locked liquidity with a $200 million market cap. And in addition to that, in second place is Bertha, this elephant treasury that you just alluded to. Right now, so if half of the tokens are locked in the graveyard, that means the other 500 trillion tokens are out there in user participant wallets, such as yourself and me. They are also in the hands of Bertha, the elephant treasury, which is growing, that friendly whale that does not dump on you. And then the rest that round out the remaining 500 are in the LPs on PancakeSwap. And there's two LPs, and you can see that in third and fourth place, but that is the BNB elephant pair and the BUSD elephant pair. Now,
well, wait, I'm sorry, just to interject real quick.
Sure.
When you say LPs, these are the liquidity pools.
Yes, these are the lock liquidity pools.
And those liquidity pools essentially effectuate or facilitate trading of those tokens. So if someone says they have BNB or a wrapped form of Ethereum or Bitcoin or a stable coin like USD or USDC, they can go to these liquidity pools and get the elephant token, essentially, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, proceed. Just want to make sure we're covering the finer points.
Nope. Yeah, that's a really good point to bring up, and I'll even throw a pie chart of what that 1 quadrillion token breakdown looks like. So here's a different way to see it. But on the right half, you've got the graveyard holding half of this entire pie chart. Okay, And then in the green, you have 205 trillion in the hands of the participants. Okay. In the gray, you have the BUSD and the BNB liquidity pools. Okay. Half of the pools are the actual token that we talked about, BUSD or BNB, and the other half of those LP pools are comprised of the elephant token. So on this pie chart, you can see how many elephant tokens are in the BUSD pool. It says 65 trillion tokens. BNB is 80 trillion tokens. And then the last part of the pie chart is in yellow. This is Bertha. And this graphic's actually about a week old, but Bertha has over 152 trillion tokens and growing. And we'll get into those details, but you have over 45 contracts that are engineered to keep Bertha growing, that friendly whale that you want to get bigger and bigger and not dump the price on you. That Bertha treasury is getting larger. And so when we go back to the holder list, it's important that we know that Bertha's in second place now, because a year ago she was in last place. Okay. She only had 64 trillion tokens within her, meaning the LP pools were larger in size than her. And she's had a meteoric rise and is now in second place. She's climbed this holder list and she is seated right behind the graveyard here. And so as people are interacting with the various contracts in Elephant Money, in addition to the buy and sell taxes that I mentioned earlier, those reflections are going to the graveyard, they're going to Bertha, they're going to the participants, and just continuing to grow that price. Which, fun fact, in 2022, Elephant Token outperformed 100% of all top 100 cryptocurrencies because the price did not crash. So
You know what? And I saw your tweet on that. Do you have that handy? Because that was a really great stat where you basically showed that outperformance from, pretty much every other market on the planet.
I don't have that tweet, but what I will do is pull up coincodex.com, which is where that stat actually comes from. Now, this is a running 12-month total. So if you look at it today, it's not above 100% of the top 100 anymore. Like if you looked at it on December 31st, you would have seen, the stat that I just mentioned, but it's still impressive with what we're about to pull up right now. The highlights right here is that Elephant token prices increased by 203% in the last 12 months from today. And as of right now, it has outperformed 94% of the top 100 crypto assets in the past 12 months, including Bitcoin and Ethereum. So, yeah, that's a fun fact for 2022. But I believe with everything that's about to happen with the Elephant token this year, 2023, we are going to claim that top spot again, where we outperform 100% of the market once again. I think that's what we're poised to do.
Okay, well, yeah. Sorry, sorry to get you off track again, but these are great stats to, show people, because when we say it, people are like, oh, but what about? Yeah, get the what about is. So
Yeah, absolutely. And one other thing that I'll talk about too is, so remember when we were looking at the pie chart, and actually it's interactive, so I will show you what's happened since May 1st of 2022. But in real time, you can see the distribution of those 500 trillion tokens in the wild, right? In the hands of participants, Bertha, and the LPs. And I'll just play it again right here, but you'll see that Bertha really climbs in that pie chart right there. And that is due to all the funds being pointed at Bertha to grow. And recently she just flipped the size of the LPs. So she is now larger than the combined size of the LPs. And there's some really good Dune analytics out there by Daedalus. And he basically shows that very same thing whenever the very last time. So this had a parabolic run before this protocol was battle tested. And it did suffer a $261 million mint redeem flash loan attack, which, that would have knocked out any other protocol beyond, return. But all that did was actually strengthen this protocol, if anything. But I point that out because the last time In this red and blue chart, we're looking at the LPs. The combined size of the LPs are blue on this chart, and the red represents Bertha's size in this chart. And as Bertha in red is growing in size, you can see this really dark red line in the background, but that's the price action that's occurring. And when the LPs in blue crossed Bertha in red, you can see the price action that ensued weeks after the fact, which is where the elephant token went parabolic. Okay.
Yeah.
And then due to a mint and redeem, the red Bertha got zapped, which is what that gap is for. All those tokens got put back into the wild. And then fast forward to today, we've actually crossed again. And so it's like having the winning numbers to the lottery and going back in time. But history will repeat itself where this token does go parabolic due to the supply demand tokenomics. And you're positioning and talking about this at a perfect time.
So let me just kind of, or well, not zoom in, not physically zoom in, but focus. You said there was this crossover, right? Where the liquidity pools, the treasury, Bertha, had exceeded the liquidity pools. And what was that time frame between once the treasury, Bertha, exceeded the liquidity pools and then there was the parabolic run? About how long was that? And how long did that last?
Yeah, no, that's a really good question. I'll preface it also by saying that at that time, the LP pools, there were still, the elephant BUSD and elephant BNB pairs. However, most everything was targeted and focused on the BNB pair. And so the rapid rise happened very quickly after the cross right here. Okay. You're probably looking at 3 weeks by the time elephant token itself went vertical, 3 weeks after the cross. Now, what's different about today is that with some of the efficiencies and the innovation that's been added post exploit, is that we're building both LP pools, BUSD and BNB, equally. They are damn near size in value, and so the growth has been slower, more organic. And even though they've crossed right here, it's not going to be 3 weeks before we're vertical, but it'll be an extended time frame.
Right.
Probably 90 days or so. But yeah, everything on the right half of this chart really just looks like an elongated version of the left half of the chart. So
Yeah, no, and I think, like you said, with all the efficiencies and really new security measures, it's going to make that run up a little bit more sustained, like you said, and a little bit longer term. It might not be as sharp, but that chart is still going up and to the right. And as it has over the last week, the last month, the last 90 days.
oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can even look at the 1-year chart of what Bitcoin's done or BNB, and well, Bitcoin specifically is probably up about 40% year over year, whereas Elephant is up over 200%. And so it's consistently outperforming these other protocols. But the really cool thing about Elephant is the way it's engineered to capture that value through the taxes and deposits coming into the ecosystem. That value capture is it's like a volcano rumbling when we use this term called supply shock, where Bertha gets so big in size that she's so much larger than the LPs that she just puts a squeeze on the price, and she traps that, and she harnesses that economic energy and just really propels this price beyond belief. Right now it still looks like a normal chart that kind of dips, but pretty soon history will repeat itself where we will eventually be vertical on this. And so even if you get in today, you're looking at a mathematically assured multiple X's on your elephant token investment alone.
This is a great overview and recap and review of what Elephant Money is, bringing us to the here and now.
Yeah.